Anthony Scarmucci, a man who has never stayed in his lane. How about that transition?
Every lane is my lane, Ed. Every lane.
Yep.
So that was good, though. I thought you were going to say something worse.
I thought I was going to blow you up.
I felt like I was falling into the rafter here, but I'm feeling better now. Good morning, everybody.
I like your new book title, by the way. Just there is Trump, the blue-collar president.
Oh, that makes the liberals crazy.
I think that's actually going to drive Joe Biden out of his mind, that book, because that's his whole appeal.
Because if you've ever seen Trump's apartment up on Fifth Avenue, it looks like Louis XIV smoked crystal meth and decorated the apartment.
What?
Yeah, I mean, come on, you ever see that apartment? It's unbelievable.
I have seen photos of it.
But, you know, he captured the blue-collar people. He's going to do it again. And look at these job numbers, and look at the depth of the job numbers in lower and middle income areas. And so, you know, if you study this stuff, which I have over the last 30 years, the thing that you learn in labor economics is three things. You don't get this tight of a labor market without inflation. We have this tight of a labor market without inflation. And then the second thing, what Pete and I were talking about at the break, it's going to be very, very hard to get the numbers even better than this because there's always a little bit of friction in the marketplace. So it's kudos to the president and his economic team because at the end of the day, policies actually really matter. They have deployed some of the best policies in the history of America. And what Steve Moore has said consistently is you can actually get the full employment and aggressive growth without lots of inflation. And so that's an anti-Keynesian theory. And the president intuitively understands that. And thank God he won. I know I saw you guys seeing the Hillary Clinton belly aching stuff. I was sitting there saying prayers on a Sunday morning. Thank you that President Trump won, because look at the economy now as a result of his policies.
I'm going to try to continue the horse race analogy.
Okay,
what did they do? They lodged a complaint, right? And then from the complaint, the election results were changed. It's like the last 2 years were a big complaint from the Democrats because Trump went into their lane. But they didn't change because he's still the president.
Oh, but they couldn't find a way to beat him, and so they had to start making up stories about why he won. Okay, so now you have 2.5 years of that. And as I was saying, you went from Mueller time to the barbecue. All right, you can laugh at that, please, a little bit. But the point I'm making, they couldn't beat him. Made up a story about it. It turns out the story was false, and so now they hear it now. And I know Secretary Clinton's upset. She thinks it got taken from her from Director Comey, but that's really not true. She didn't do the work that President Trump did. She didn't do all the campaign rallies that he did. She didn't inspire people the way he did. And, you know, remember, she didn't go to Wisconsin one time. I think she went to Michigan once or twice. President was out there hustling, and he'll be doing the same thing.
So there was a CNN poll a couple of days ago. I think it said 56% approval in terms of his job on the economy. Now there's a CNN poll saying 69% of Americans think Congress should investigate the origins of this Justice Department inquiry into Russian meddling. It seems like the idea of investigating the investigators is catching on.
Oh, yeah, look, it will likely happen. You know, what I said on Martha's show on Friday night, if the Inspector General and the FBI says the following people did the following wrong things, then they've got to get prosecuted. It's just the way it is, okay? If people don't like that, that's a little bit too bad. But I want the president to focus on winning. I'm not tired of winning. I want him to stick to the policies. I want him to continue on course. What he's trying to do is to take the anxiety out of the system economically, but also from a national security perspective. I like the fact that he's talking to President Putin. Why not? I think it's a very, very good strategy for America. So the combination of things that he's doing that are offensive, I want him to stay doing that. The defensive maneuver to go after the investigators, let somebody else focus on that. We need the president's time and energy on all the good things that he's capable of doing in his instincts.
With Joe Biden running, though, I think that investigate the investigators point becomes stronger because now he's tied to that administration and people are going to have questions for him as to what did you know? What did President Obama know? What was going on here that justified this investigation?
When the time is right and he goes into the president's crosshairs, it's going to be a rough time for Vice President Biden.
But a great debate. That debate stage, man, we'd all be popcorn would be.
It'll be fun. Remember,
wonderful.
The president is you guys are old enough to remember Ronnie Lott. The president is the Ronnie Lott.
Ronnie Lott, 49ers.
This guy can take you right off the playing field in ways that you can't even expect. So.
Anthony Scarmucci,
thanks, Anthony.
Great
for being
here.
Thanks.